as far as like the federal government. Like Korean working culture is pretty intense actually.
The
Threat from North Korea.
Could you please introduce yourself to the subscribers, please?
Yes, my name is Nate. I'm American. I've lived in Korea for 7 years. I came here with the U.S. military.
Wow.
And I served at Osan Air Base for 2 years. And then afterwards, I applied for a teaching visa, and I've been teaching ever since.
Wow, that's amazing.
I served in the Air Force for 6 years.
Okay.
My last 2 years, I served at Osan Air Base.
Okay. So how was it serving in foreign country?
It's different than serving in the States. Korea is more fast-paced, I would say. And they keep the jets on alert all the time just because of the kind of
The
threat from North Korea. So it's a very busy base.
Okay.
But it's my first time actually overseas, so I thought it was a good experience to kind of see a different culture at the same time.
Nate, what is your current occupation?
I'm working as an online English teacher for a British company.
Okay.
Why Korea? Why did you? Well, in your case, you were dispatched to Korea with the military. Why did you decide to stay?
I just made a lot of friends here. I made some good connections, I would say, and the working environment. I view Koreans as really hardworking, so I thought I just kind of jived well with the overall working culture and just people in general here. I would say.
Okay.
And yeah, I made a lot of teacher friends here and friends from around the world. So I just really enjoyed living here.
These days, big tech companies providing AI technology for English speaking. What do you think on that?
I think isn't there? Isn't there? I feel like there's a kind of big competition right now amongst tech companies, and I would think I'm not too familiar with Korea's IT companies, but I would imagine that they also are like kind of incentivized to break new ground as far as AI goes.
Nate, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Said about the background check. Does being a ex-soldier in any way hurt your chances for getting a visa here in Korea? Or maybe it has an advantage.
I think I mean, as far like when we join the military, we have to like fill out a bunch of paperwork ourselves. So like I feel like some of that information is already they already have that information as far as like the federal government. Um, but actually, I don't think I don't think it sped up the process, but it definitely like probably helped as far as them like pulling files, I would imagine.
Okay, I see.
Paperwork takes a lot of time. I think paperwork is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah,
Like in my case, my paperwork was done by my agency. I did not touch anything.
That's great.
But I was like, oh, it's a nightmare to have paperwork, especially if you're working for a company.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I think it takes a while, and it also depends a lot on luck. You know, some people get their paperwork done really fast, and immigration processes it really fast, and some people have to wait for like months and months and months, and still are waiting for their visas or approval of extension or something like that.
Interesting. So Nate, what visa do you have currently?
Right now, I'm on the E2 visa.
E2 visa. And what does it allow you to do? It's
I can
English teaching only.
Yeah.
English teaching for schools and hot ones.
I see.
And yeah, so yeah, that is like that.
Okay.
Specific.
Do you have anything else to share about your occupation here in Korea? About working life, maybe?
I don't have a lot of working experience besides Korea. Like I worked at an auto repair shop in the States before I joined the military. And then I also have some experience working for my father. He owns like a toy and game company, so I have some experience just working like in his warehouse, filling out orders for him. But yeah, so I don't have too much to compare like Korean working culture with American like working culture, but just from what I know, I feel like Korean working culture is pretty intense actually, as far as hours and um, expectations and yeah, stuff like that.
I can compare the differences between like Korean working culture and my country working culture. So I think it's very similar because I see Korean people working even on Sundays at 9 p.m. in their offices, which is like really irritating to be honest. But same happens in my country too. Sometimes you see people working on weekends till late nights just to be impressive to their company or their bosses. And the problem is they don't find anything wrong with this. You know, like in my country too or here too, they're ready to work. Like hours and hours and hours. So Korean or Indian culture is really extensive. The only difference I feel is Koreans get paid enough for the work. Like you know what they're working for, they get for overtime, they get for everything. But in case of my country, we work for low wages. So that's the problem. But yeah, you have some insight.
I have some Korean friends, so they tell me about like working for like in the corporate environment here, and they tell me that a lot of times like their boss expects them to like stay late for dinners and stuff. And,
I see.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of
pushing. Yeah,
yeah. So
younger people don't like it.
Do you like it? Are the working hours maybe too long? Is your pay enough for what you do?
I think I'm paid like adequately for what I do.
Okay.
Honestly, um, I wouldn't consider like myself in the kind of normal. I mean, like I don't work in like a corporate setting, so but just from what I hear from my Korean friends, that's mainly where I'm drawing those conclusions from.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. So I know you're from the US. I'm not very familiar with the American national cuisine, but you're also ethnically from Bolivia, right?
Yes.
Sorry.
So I was born in Bolivia. I lived there for 2 years.
Okay.
And before I moved to the U.S., I became a naturalized citizen.
And could you share your experiences with food? Could you find the food you're most used to? Maybe Bolivian national cuisine or American national cuisine?
So I kind of grew up on an American diet. So I kind of, I think it's a, I feel like it's a little, Korean food is a little bit more healthy.
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of fast food in the U.S.
Right.
and I feel like when I moved to Korea there was some like dietary changes that I made.
Okay.
For the better. Yeah.
Which place in the US are you from? Like which city?
So near Boston, about an hour west of Boston, Massachusetts.